So this is the soil mix I'm going to be using to plant this blueberry bush. It is azalea mix, and it's more acidic. So blueberries, you can see there's actually a picture of a blueberry on the bag there, and hydrangea and some ferns. Blueberries like a slightly more acidic soil. So this is what we're going to be using. It has peat moss, feather meal, bat guano, and kelp meal in it. So it's good stuff. So this is the blueberry bush I'm going to be planting today. It is a Jewel Southern High Bush. It is a California commercial variety, so we're hoping for some good production out of it here in California. And then I also want to show you, I have a gopher basket made. So we make our own gopher baskets here because we have a lot of gophers. We have a bad gopher problem. And if we were to buy gopher baskets for every plant that we planted, it wouldn't be very economical. So we just started making our own gopher baskets. The wire here that you see I'm using is not chicken wire. It looks like chicken wire, but it's not. It actually has a smaller hole than what chicken wire has. So chicken wire, sometimes I think, I don't know if a big gopher could get through it, but I think maybe baby gophers can get through it. So it doesn't work as well. So if you use the smaller stuff here, gophers can't get through it, eat your plants, because that's happened to me more than once, more than 10 times. They've eaten my plants, and it's nothing worse. So I have a little hole here pre-dug that we're gonna put this blueberry in. It's kind of over here. I have a line of lavenders I just planted. You can't really see them yet, but they are propagated lavenders, so you can watch one of our other videos we posted about how to propagate lavender. So you'll see I have some of those over there. And I'm gonna start off here by putting the plant in my gopher wire. If you would also like to make your own gopher baskets, it's pretty easy to do. You can go to most hardware stores have it, Tractor Supply has it, building material stores have it. I've bought it at all of those places. We buy a lot of it. And you just, figure out how much you're gonna need, get some wire nippers and nip it up, and then I'll show you how I put the plant in it. I usually like to put the plant in it before I plant, or before I put the wire in the hole. I don't put the wire in the hole before the plant. I like to wrap the plant in the wire and then put it in the hole, and that seems to be the quickest way to do it. It's most efficient, I think. So I'll show you how I do that right now. I have my blueberry bush, and it's still in the bucket, came in, and I'm gonna pull it out of there, just gracefully like so. And then I have and it doesn't look root bound. Sometimes your plants will be a little root bound, and if they are root bound, you kind of want to loosen them up a little bit. You don't want to plant them with the roots all wrapped around, and they have a hard time growing. Their roots are just kind of trapped. So it's good to kind of loosen up a little bit if it is root bound, and give it some room to let the roots spread out. So my gopher basket here, because I cut it, it has on one side the top wire is still intact, so it's nice and smooth. The other side it's been cut and it's a little jagged and sharp. So I always make that the bottom of my basket. That way if you're walking by it and accidentally step on it or something, you're not going to get scraped and hurt. So this gopher basket is actually a little bit big for this plant. See if I can show you. You can kind of see it's big. Sometimes I'll wrap the plant itself in the gopher basket and then I won't have excess. But this time I didn't do that. So it's a little bit big. So I'm just going to set it in there. Now, if you worry about gophers on the ground can actually get up. If you plant this like this, with it just covering the roots, or even just like surface level, your gopher wire, gophers can actually come in here and go down into your plants. And that's happened to me too, where they do that. So I always plant my plant with the gopher basket up higher, so that a little gopher running on the ground at nighttime will hit it, won't hopefully jump up over and into it, though they probably still could, but it discourages that a little more. So what I'm going to do is put this where I want it, and I'm going to kind of flip it over here, and then I'm just going to scrunch the bottom of it up around this plant and fold it in place to create a nice bottom there the gopher can't get through. And there you have a gopher basket. The gopher basket in the hole. And I'm kind of planting on a hillside here, so it's a little awkward, but I'm just going to backfill it now with some of this dirt. Some of this azalea mix here. And see, you're going to kind of have to put it inside your gopher basket. If you don't wrap it real tight, you're going to want to fill it up in there. And you want to make sure you cover your roots too. The top there with dirt. You don't want to leave any of your top roots exposed because that'll make your plant dry out. And I've made that mistake a few times when I've planted privets. And we're planting, you know, 50 privets at a time. Sometimes I'll be in a hurry and won't be careful and leave the tops of the roots exposed. And then those plants never do quite as well. So just make sure you do that good. And on the other hand, you don't want your soil to come too high up on the plant either, because that can also damage it. I just want to make sure it's even. Oh. And there you mostly have it. You want to, now like I said, we're kind of planting on a hill here, so it's a little bit awkward. But I want to make sure that when I water this plant, that the water has somewhere to sit here inside, because if not, since I'm watering on a hill especially, the water will just kind of like roll down the hill and never soak in. So that's another reason why we always use a drip system, because the drip has a slower rate of watering than, say, if you were using your garden hose. So that'll just drip in there and have the opportunity to just sort of slowly trickle on down. Line here, you'll see it's up next to this little bitty lavender here that we propagated, and I just recently put that in there. It too is in a Gopher basket, and the little organic pot there that will decompose over time. But the lavender seems to be doing okay. You can see it's a little moister and it got watered. We have soil here. Our soil here is really clay, so it a lot of times doesn't drain well, and lavenders really don't like that. They do not like a soggy root. So luckily here on this hillside, it's not such a problem. So I have this existing drip line here that kind of wants to curve around here away from where my blueberry bush is. So I'm going to, instead of trying to curve it up there, because it kind of ends here anyway, we're at the end of our line here, I'm gonna put a hole in here and put my drip in. And I am using a 1 gallon per hour flag dripper. I manually handle or turn on this drip line here. So I kind of water as needed. So let me show you how to make a hole there. Use to punch a hole in your drip line, and all I'm gonna do here is put the drip line in the tool, make sure it's in there really good and snug, because sometimes it doesn't do a very good job. And then all you do from there is press down and wait till you hear a click, and then you pull it out. And like I said, this is a pre-existing drip line, so there's some water left in there. You take your little dripper and punch it in that hole, and there you have a dripper. And so now, to run the water up to my blueberry bush, I'm just going to attach some of the smaller hose line here to that dripper, and we'll be good to go. So behind me here now you'll see the blueberry bush is planted on the hillside. It's planted, next to it are also some lavenders that we propagated and put in there. We have another video on lavender propagation, so if you're interested in that, check that out. I have a few more spots we put those also. So the plan is that those lavenders will fill in, and then we'll have a nice blueberry bush here on the end that the kids can pick on. And last but not least, since our blueberry bush is now planted, you'll want to water it. And I just went ahead and turned my drip on, and you can maybe hear everything behind me getting going there, but it'll get watered and hopefully it likes its new home. Yeah, but it's not ripe yet. Oh, you're gonna eat it anyway? Is that yummy? Oh no, they gotta wait till they're blue. They're called blueberries, not green berries. Don't pick them all off, then they won't get ripe.